and a lot of voices to be heard. Stick to the frequency that amplifies those voices, stories and reports that make the difference. This is Agidigbo News, 88.7 FM, the people's voice.
This is Kunle Amzat Studio, Agidigbo 88.7 FM. Welcome to News Around the World.
Good evening. Welcome to the News Around the World on Agidigbo 88.7 FM, Ibadan, the most listened to radio station. I am Olajumoke Oladunjoye. The headlines. Mawa charges NDLEA officers to remain resilient in drug war. Oyo conducts confirmation exam for 4,500 civil servants. Thailand tightens gun controls after deadly school shooting. Iran says no progress on reviving interim peace deal with United States. The chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Mawa, retired, has charged officers and personnel of the agency to remain resilient, describing the fight against illicit drugs as a generational responsibility. Brigadier General Mawa gave the charge today at the 12th Chairman's Commendations and Awards ceremony held at the agency's national headquarters in Abuja, which recognized 274 personnel for outstanding performance, as well as 18 best performing commands and 19 non-governmental organizations and media organizations for their contributions to the campaign against drug abuse in Nigeria. The chairman said the fight against illicit drugs would remain a continuous challenge, requiring sustained commitment from the agency and its partners, just as he described the awards as the beginning of a tradition, not a closed chapter, adding that subsequent editions will recognize more individuals and organizations contributing to the fight against drug abuse. Brigadier General Mawa further urged NDLEA personnel to regard the award recipients as examples to emulate, rather than as a limit to their own achievement, while encouraging civil society organizations and media partners to see the recognition as an invitation to deepen their contributions to the campaign against drug abuse. The national leadership of Accord has dismissed its expelled former 2023 presidential candidate Chris Imumolen's support for the All Progressives Congress candidate Bola Oyebamiji for the Osun State governorship election, stating that Imumolen has no electoral value to influence any election in the country. In a statement signed by the national chairman of Accord, Chief Maxwell Ngbudem, the party stated that Imumolen is a political hireling and hustler seeking stomach infrastructure and has no political structure that will favor his preferred candidate in the election. According to Chief Ngbudem, the people are in one accord with Governor Ademola Adeleke and will overwhelmingly vote for the party on Saturday, August 15, adding that Accord will secure a landslide victory in this election that will further consolidate the party in the state and improve the delivery of democracy dividends to the people. The party urges INEC to be neutral and conduct a credible election, and also urges security agencies to be impartial and professional in the discharge of their statutory responsibilities. Busy schedules and daily responsibilities has made many people regard sleep as something that can be sacrificed to get more work done. But while many people may see lack of sleep as a normal part of a busy lifestyle, health experts warn that inadequate sleep can affect concentration, productivity, and overall health. Agidigbo FM News correspondent Aisha Oladeji engaged a wellness and healthy lifestyle expert on the importance of adequate sleep. Here is the report.
It has been recommended by the World Health Organization that we should have at least 8 hours of sleep. In most cases, a lot of people mistake sleep to relaxation. You say you want to sleep, but eventually what you're doing is you are relaxing.
That was the voice of Mrs. Fatima Zubara Akinyoade, a nutritionist, explaining what adequate sleep is all about. Sleep is one of the most essential pillars of healthy living, yet it is often overlooked in today's fast-paced world, as lots of people sacrifice their sleep to make work deadlines, study for examinations, run businesses, or spend long hours on their mobile phones and social media. Medical professionals explain that sleep is the period when the body repairs tissues, strengthens the immune system, restores energy, and processes information gathered throughout the day. However, increasing economic pressures, demanding work schedules, shift jobs, stress, and lifestyle habits have made quality sleep difficult for many Nigerians. As a result, sleep deprivation has become a growing public health concern that affects people of all ages. Speaking with Agidigbo FM News, Mrs. Akinyoade explained the importance of having adequate sleep.
When you sleep well, that is the point where your body tissues tend to, the lost tissues, get replaced, repaired. At that point, your brain also settles. It allows your body system generally to get renewed. At the same time, it also helps you with the efficiency of your brain. So another benefit of sleeping well is that it makes you look younger. When you sleep well, when you wake up from your sleep, you take your bath, you tend to look younger than your age.
Health experts warn that consistently getting less sleep than the recommended 7 to 9 hours for adults can have serious consequences for both the physical and the mental well-being. In a separate interview with Agidigbo FM, Mrs. Akinyoade also highlights the dangers associated with not sleeping enough.
If you do not have adequate sleep, the first thing you're going to start observing is what we call migraine. Migraine, when you start having headache in the frontal part of your head, just a side. That one is amnesia, which is called loss of memory. Loss of memory is when you start losing gradually a part of your brain. Why? Because you are not having adequate sleep. And also, another effect is when it triggers your blood pressure to increase. You tend to develop what we call high blood pressure. In fact, it is one major way by which you can develop high blood pressure.
Wellness and lifestyle experts advise that developing healthy sleep habits begins with maintaining a consistent bedtime, reducing screen time before sleep, avoiding excessive caffeine late in the day, and creating a quiet and comfortable sleeping environment. As awareness of the importance of sleep continues to grow, experts stress that adequate rest should no longer be viewed as a luxury, but as a necessity for good health. Prioritizing quality sleep, they say, is one of the simplest and the most effective ways to improve productivity, protect overall well-being, and enjoy a healthier and more balanced life. Aisha Oladeji, Agidigbo FM News.
The Oyo State Government, through the Ministry of Establishment and Training, has conducted the year 2026 mandatory confirmation examination for officers on grade levels 1 to 6, which recorded the participation of over 4,500 candidates across various cadres. The Ministry of Information made the disclosure in a statement released today, which noted that the examination was held simultaneously at 7 zonal designated centers across the state, while candidates from cadres including clerical officers, clerical assistants, store attendants, and other allied positions participated in the exercise. Addressing the candidates at the Simeon Adebo Staff Development Center for Ibadan Zone 1 and 2, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Establishment and Training, Alhaji Ahmed Alade Bello, urged the participants to remain patient while awaiting their respective batches. Alhaji Bello encouraged them to put in their best and pass the examination, which he said is the window to further career development, adding The results of the examination are expected to be released and communicated to participants through their respective ministries, departments, and agencies upon completion of the grading process. Now it is time to link up with our United Kingdom studio for the foreign news.
News from Fulham's studio at Gidigbo FM. United Kingdom, I am Olushola Damilola. Thailand is suspending new gun permits while tightening its firearm control after last week's deadly school shooting in which a 14-year-old boy killed 8 people before turning the gun on himself. Prime Minister Anuti Shabrakor issued a directive yesterday ordering government officials to urgently elevate firearm control measures across the entire system. The measures include temporarily suspending the issuance of gun purchase permits, reviewing all permits still pending approval, and suspending new welfare gun program, which allow eligible public officials, including civil servants and politicians, to buy discounted weapons. Government agencies will also now inspect gun dealers nationwide and verify sales record, inspect ammunition at shooting ranges to check that they are following regulations and prosecute offenders. Facebook and Instagram owner Meta has taken down more than 750,000 accounts it suspected were held by Australians aged under 16. The company said it had deactivated 462,000 suspect Instagram accounts and 294,000 for Facebook. Just before the Australian social media ban went live in December, the world's largest social media company said the company wants to comply with the law, although no other platform have released compliance data that matches the date range given by Meta. And that ends the news from Fulham's studio at Gidigbo FM. United Kingdom, I am Olushola Damilola.
Shall also be moving to our Maryland studio, United States, for more foreign news.
News from Kule Amzat Studio, Gidigbo FM, United States. I am Oluwatosin Soya. Iran and the United States remain at odds over efforts to secure a lasting end to the war in the Gulf, according to a senior Iranian source who said there had been no progress in talks aimed at reviving an interim agreement reached in June and setting a timeline for its implementation. The comment came after U.S. President Donald Trump renewed his criticism of Iran's leadership, further dimming hopes of a resolution to the crisis following fresh attacks on shipping in the region on Tuesday. The June agreement called for an immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, but it quickly unraveled. Trump declared the deal over on July 7, while Iran's foreign ministry said a week later that it had been suspended. Washington accuses Iran of failing to honor a commitment under the agreement to reopen the vital Strait of Hormuz to shipping. Tehran, meanwhile, says the United States has failed to meet its own obligations, including lifting a blockade of Iranian ports and releasing frozen Iranian assets. Zambians voted on Thursday in a national election that will test whether President Hakainde Hichilema's economic gains since the country's pandemic-era debt crises are enough to secure him a second term. Analysts say Hichilema is favored to win, citing the advantages of incumbency and a divided opposition. However, first-time presidential candidate Brian Mundubile has attracted large crowds in some parts of the country, adding uncertainty to the race. Hichilema took office in 2021 and has overseen Zambia's recovery from its 2020 sovereign debt default, including a major restructuring of the country's debt. Zambia is Africa's second-largest copper producer after the Democratic Republic of Congo and has become strategically important because of its reserves of critical minerals. China is already a major investor in the sector, while the United States is seeking to expand its access to Zambia's mineral resources. Earlier this year, negotiations over up to $2 billion in U.S. health funding stalled after Zambia said Washington was seeking to link the funding to mining agreements. And that has the news from Kule Amzat Studio at Gidigbo FM, United States. I am Oluwatosin Soya.
Welcome back. Now in the exciting world of sport. The National Sports Commission, NSC, has charged Nigeria Super Falcons to stay focused and go for a win when they take on South Africa tonight in a highly anticipated World Cup playoff match in Casablanca. The 10 times African champions narrowly lost to Cameroon in the quarterfinals of the ongoing WAFCON tournament in Morocco, but still have a big chance to qualify for the 2027 World Cup via the Interconfederation Playoff. The Director General of the NSC, Honorable Bukola Olopade, called on the girls to quickly leave the disappointment of the quarter-final defeat behind them and channel all their energy on tonight's game against South Africa. The Director General further assured the team of the federal government's unwavering support and confidence in their ability to still qualify for the Women's World Cup in 2027. To wrap up the news this evening, here is a recap of the headlines. Marwa charges NDLEA officers to remain resilient in drug war. Oyo conducts confirmation exam for 4,500 civil servants. Thailand tightens gun controls after deadly school shooting. Iran says no progress on reviving interim peace deal with United States. NSC renews confidence in Super Falcons to pick 2027 FIFA World Cup tickets.
Don't forget that you can listen to us live on our website www.agidigbo88.7fm.com. You can also download our mobile app on Google Play Store and iOS. Simply search for Agidigbo 88.7 FM. Follow us on Facebook at Agidigbo 88.7 FM, on Twitter and Instagram at Agidigbo 887 FM, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have news stories and tips for us, contact our newsroom on 070-8714-4865 or send us a mail on newsroom@agidigbo887fm.com.
Before we go this evening, here is a quick tip. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. Finally, we've come to the end of the news around the world on Agidigbo 88.7 FM Ibadan, the most listened to radio station. I am Olajumoke Oladunjoye. Thank you for listening. Good evening.
News is information, and information is power. At Agidigbo 88.7 FM, we bring the news from top to bottom.
The Oyo State Independent Electoral Commission, OISEC, has called for continuous collaboration.
We bring you reports from Oyo State.
The Oyo State House of Assembly has called for thorough investigation.
Southwest Nigeria and the rest of the world.
Has clarified that the body did not receive any cash support from international development.
Trust us to keep you informed every hour, every day.
Agidigbo 8